The Black Sea, 1,123 hours local time. The water is iron gray and cold, running 3-meter swells out of the northwest under an overcast that sits at 800 feet and shows no intention of lifting. Somewhere in that low cloud, invisible to the naked eye and nearly irrelevant to the sensors tracking it, a single MiG-31K is climbing out of Crimea at full military power. Its 2 Soloviev D-30F6 turbofan engines pushing 30,000 kilograms of Soviet-era airframe through 40,000 feet per minute toward its launch altitude. The pilot's oxygen mask is tight against his face. The aircraft smells of hydraulic fluid and old avionics. Slung beneath the fuselage, attached to the aircraft's centerline hardpoint in a configuration that Russian state television has spent 3 years calling the most terrifying weapon in the world, is a single Kh-47M2 Kinjal, the so-called Dagger, an air-launched hypersonic ballistic missile that Moscow has declared invulnerable to all existing air defense systems. 74 nautical miles to the southeast, the USS Donald Cook, DDG-75, an Arleigh Burke Flight 2A guided missile destroyer, is holding a position in the western Black Sea that has been cleared with allied nations, consistent with international law, and filed with the appropriate maritime authorities. She has been in the Black Sea for 11 days, conducting what the Pentagon classifies as routine presence operations in support of NATO allies on the sea's western shore. She is running 18 knots on a northwesterly heading, her AN/SPY-1D phased array radar spinning its invisible lattice of electromagnetic energy outward in all directions. Her crew of 281 has been at heightened readiness since entering the Black Sea. Nobody aboard the Donald Cook is surprised by what is about to happen. They have been expecting it for 4 days. The intelligence picture leading to this moment is worth understanding in full. Signals, intelligence assets, a combination of airborne collection platforms, space-based systems, and ground-based listening posts operated by allied nations along the Black Sea littoral, had been tracking the MiG-31K's preparation cycle since 0400 hours that morning. The aircraft's weapons loading, fuel state, and pre-flight checks had all been observed and reported. The flight profile of a MiG-31K carrying a Kinjal is distinctive and well cataloged. The aircraft climbs to an altitude of approximately 18,000 meters, accelerates to around Mach 2.35, and releases the missile at a precisely calculated point that gives the Kinjal the energy state it needs to execute its ballistic arc and terminal hypersonic dive. This profile was transmitted to the Donald Cook's Combat Information Center at 09:17 hours, more than 2 hours before the launch. The tactical action officer aboard the Donald Cook had those 2 hours to prepare. He used them. Now let's talk about the Kh-47M2 Kinzhal, because Russia's investment in its mythology deserves a serious technical response. The missile is real. It is not a fiction or a propaganda fabrication. It is a genuine weapon derived from the Iskander-M ground-launched ballistic missile, adapted for air launch from a MiG-31K or Tu-22M3 carrier aircraft. Its performance figures, as best as Western intelligence has assessed them, include a maximum speed of approximately Mach 10 in terminal phase, roughly 12,000 kilometers per hour, and a range of approximately 2,000 kilometers when launched from the MiG-31K at optimal altitude. It maneuvers during flight, which distinguishes it from a simple ballistic missile and theoretically complicates the intercept problem. Russia has used it in combat in Ukraine, striking fixed targets with reasonable accuracy. In March 2022, Russian media claimed it destroyed a Ukrainian underground ammunition depot. This is probably true. It is also largely irrelevant to what the Donald Cook is about to demonstrate, because striking a stationary underground facility and striking a maneuvering naval warship defended by the Aegis combat system are not remotely comparable problems. The Kinjal's guidance system is inertial navigation updated by GLONASS, Russia's GPS equivalent, with an optional optical or radar terminal seeker in some variants. Against a stationary target with known coordinates, it achieves circular error probables in the range of 5 to 10 meters. Against a maneuvering ship, the picture is more complicated. A ship moving at 25 knots changes its position by approximately 760 meters every minute. At Mach 10 terminal velocity, the missile's time of flight from 50 kilometers altitude to sea level is roughly 25 seconds. In those 25 seconds, a ship maneuvering at maximum speed and maximum rudder can displace by 300 plus meters from its last known position. The seeker has to find the ship in its terminal dive. The seeker has to win a geometry problem against a target that is actively trying to not be where the seeker expects it to be in an electromagnetic environment that the USS Donald Cook's AN/SLQ-32V6 electronic warfare system is actively contesting at full power. The AN/SLQ-32V6, the Surface Electronic Warfare Improvement Program, or SEWIP Block III, is the Donald Cook's electronic warfare suite, and it is a system that Russia has been trying to understand since 2014, when the famous incident occurred in which a Russian Su-24 allegedly disabled the Donald Cook's defenses with an electronic warfare pod. That story, widely circulated in Russian media and occasionally in Western outlets, is false. What actually happened was that the Su-24 flew close to the ship while operating its Kibini electronic countermeasures pod, which generated some interference with certain sensors. The ship's combat system continued to function normally. The Donald Cook was never disabled. The story has been retold so many times, in so many formats, that it has apparently been internalized by Russian military planners as documented fact. This is a dangerous basis for operational planning. The SEWIP Block III that operates on the Donald Cook today is a fundamentally more capable system than whatever was running in 2014. It can detect, classify, and jam or spoof radar and seeker systems across a wide frequency range simultaneously, and it has been specifically upgraded to address threats consistent with the Kinjal's terminal guidance profile. At 11:27 hours, the MiG-31K reaches its release parameters: 18,200 meters altitude, Mach 2.1 airspeed, on a southeasterly launch vector calculated to give the Kinjal an approach angle of approximately 70 degrees from the Donald Cook's bow. The missile releases cleanly. The aircraft bucks upward as the mass drops away, and the Kinjal's solid fuel first stage ignites. The missile climbs, arcs over, and begins its hypersonic dive. The Donald Cook's AN/SPY-1D radar acquires the Kinjal 6.4 seconds after release, not after the terminal dive begins, after release. The SPY-1D's ballistic missile defense tracking mode, operated under the Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense Software baseline, is specifically designed to detect and track objects on ballistic trajectories immediately after launch, at the point of maximum radar cross-section when the booster is burning. The Kinjal's rocket plume is an enormous infrared and radar event. The Aegis system classifies the contact in 2.1 seconds, computes the initial intercept solution in 4.7 seconds, and flags it for the TAO's weapons authorization. The TAO authorizes engagement at 11:27 hours and 41 seconds. But the Donald Cook is not acting alone. This is the piece of this engagement that Russian planners apparently did not weight correctly. 62 nautical miles to the west, a Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser, USS Monterey, is holding a position that was chosen specifically because it provides overlapping Aegis coverage with the Donald Cook across the area of the Black Sea, where this threat was anticipated. The two ships have been running a coordinated air defense posture under Cooperative Engagement Capability for the past 96 hours. Every radar contact on the Donald Cook's display is simultaneously on the Monterey's display. Every fire control solution the Donald Cook has computed has been cross-checked against the Monterey's independently generated solution. When the Donald Cook's TAO authorizes engagement, the Monterey's TAO is already doing the same thing from a different geometric angle, which matters enormously against a maneuvering hypersonic target, because triangulating from two widely separated radar baselines produces a far more precise track than a single radar can generate alone. The standard missile 3 Block IIA, the SM-3 Block IIA, jointly developed by the United States and Japan at a program cost exceeding $2.4 billion, launches from the Donald Cook's forward VLS at 1,128 hours and 3 seconds. It is a hit-to-kill weapon. There is no warhead in the conventional explosive sense. The SM-3's third-stage lightweight exo-atmospheric projectile, the LEAP kinetic vehicle, destroys its target through kinetic impact at closing velocities that, against a Mach 10 incoming target, produce collision energies measured in hundreds of megajoules. There is nothing left of the target. Not fragments. Not a warhead that might still function. Nothing. The SM-3 Block IIA climbs at velocities approaching Mach 15. The Kinjal is descending at Mach 10. The closure rate between them is extraordinary. The geometry of this engagement is measured in seconds. The Aegis fire control system is continuously updating the intercept solution as both the SM-3 and the Kinjal maneuver, feeding corrections to the SM-3's guidance system via a mid-course update data link that operates throughout the missile's flight. The Kinjal executes 2 lateral maneuvers during its terminal phase, programmed evasion sequences designed to defeat predicted intercept envelopes based on Russian modeling of SM-3 kinematics. These maneuvers are real. They are consequential against older interceptors or against a single radar fire control solution with no mid-course update capability, against the SM-3 Block IIA guided by a 2-ship cooperative engagement capability network with continuously updated mid-course guidance. They are insufficient. The LEAP kinetic vehicle corrects for each Kinjal maneuver in 0.3-second update cycles. The intercept occurs at 41 kilometers altitude, well within the SM-3's engagement envelope, well above any altitude at which the Kinjal's warhead could threaten the ship. The collision energy is equivalent to approximately 450 kilograms of TNT detonating instantaneously. The Kinjal ceases to exist as a coherent object. Its debris field, what little survives the collision, disperses at altitude and falls into the Black Sea over an area of approximately 12 square kilometers. On the Donald Cook's radar display, the track icon labeled Hostile 01 blinks out. The TAO notes the intercept, checks the SPY-1D picture for any additional threats, and confirms the airspace is clear. Elapsed time from missile launch detection to intercept, 4 minutes and 17 seconds. The Donald Cook has not changed course. She has not significantly altered speed. Her hull is dry. Her crew is at their stations. In Moscow, the sequence of events is observed in near real time through Russian surveillance systems. The MiG-31K pilot, returning to his base at Saki Airfield in Crimea, reports a normal release. He has no way to know from his aircraft that the missile has been destroyed. The Kinjal's telemetry, after boost phase, does not return to the launch platform. Russian radar assets eventually reconstruct what happened. The reconstruction takes time, and the conclusion that an SM-3 Block IIA intercepted and destroyed a Kh-47M2 Kinzhal in exo-atmospheric flight over the Black Sea is not one that anyone in the Russian defense establishment wants to report upward. Russia has 2 choices at this point. They can accept that their Invincible hypersonic missile has been publicly destroyed by American missile defense technology, or they can attempt to obscure the outcome. They attempt to obscure it. Russian state media reports nothing for 6 hours. Then, a brief announcement. A test launch of the Kinjal missile system was conducted earlier in the day. No mention of the Donald Cook. No mention of the intercept. No acknowledgement that anything has changed in the operational equation. The problem with this approach is that the intercept generated a debris field that fell into the Black Sea, and debris fields are tracked. Turkish maritime authorities, operating radar and surveillance assets in the region as a NATO member nation, had the entire engagement on their screens. Romanian Air Force radar systems had tracking data. The E-3 Sentry AWACS aircraft that NATO maintains on continuous rotation over the Black Sea approaches had a detailed picture. None of this information is secret. None of it is deniable. The Kinjal was destroyed. The Donald Cook is still there. But Moscow has one more option in its playbook, and at 13:41 hours, 2 hours and 14 minutes after the failed Kinjal strike, they execute it. 2 Kalibr NK cruise missiles launched from a Bayan M-class corvette operating in the eastern Black Sea lift off on a low-altitude sea-skimming approach toward the Donald Cook. The Kalibr, specifically the 3 M54 anti-ship variant, NATO designation SS-N-27B Sizzler, is a more conventional weapon than the Kinjal, but not a trivial one. Its terminal phase features a supersonic sprint at Mach 2.9, popping up from sea-skimming altitude to execute a high-angle dive on the target. The sprint stage makes it faster and harder to engage than a subsonic cruise missile. The Kalibr has been used extensively in Russia's war in Ukraine and in Syria before that. Russian commanders clearly regarded it as a proven backup option. What they did not adequately account for is the AN/SLQ-32V 6 electronic warfare system in active jamming mode, which the Donald Cook brought online at full power the moment the Kalibr launches were detected. The SLQ-32V6 generates jamming across the frequency range of the Kalibr's active radar seeker. The frequencies are known. They have been collected on by Western intelligence for years. The jamming profiles are pre-programmed and continuously refined. The first Kalibr, beginning its terminal sprint at 14 nautical miles, activates its active radar seeker and immediately enters a contested electromagnetic environment that its seeker was not designed to handle. The seeker cross-gates. It locks onto a false return generated by the SLQ-32, tracking a phantom target displaced 600 meters from the ship's actual position. The Kalibr executes its terminal dive on the Phantom. It hits the water 580 meters off the Donald Cook's port beam. The shaped charge, penetrating warhead, detonates underwater and sends a column of spray 30 meters into the air. No damage to any American vessel. The second Kalibr is already committed to its approach vector when the first one misses. Its seeker activates at 11 nautical miles. It encounters the same jamming environment. It cross-gates on the same phantom return, but the second missile's dive angle is slightly different, and the phantom return, displaced consistently by the SLQ-32 in the same direction, puts the second Kalibr on a corrected course. At 4.2 nautical miles, the Donald Cook's Phalanx CIWS detects the incoming missile, acquires it in 0.6 seconds, and opens fire. The Phalanx expends 3.1 seconds of sustained fire, approximately 232 rounds of 20mm tungsten penetrator ammunition, and structurally defeats the missile at 900 meters. The warhead does not function on impact with the water. Debris from the airframe strikes the surface in a pattern that stops 140 meters short of the hull. 2 Kalibr missiles. Zero impact on the ship. At 13:47 hours, the threat picture goes clear. No further launches are detected from any Russian platform within sensor coverage. The Donald Cook resumes her patrol speed and heading. The Monterey, to the west, maintains her station. The E-3 sentry overhead reports the airspace clear. In the CIC, the watch team begins the post-engagement reconstruction, logging the engagement timeline, cataloging the intercept data, and transmitting the battle damage assessment to 6th Fleet Headquarters in Naples. The assessment is brief. 1 Kh-47M2 Kinzhal, destroyed exo-atmospherically by SM-3 Block IIA. 2 Kalibr NK anti-ship cruise missiles defeated by electronic warfare and Phalanx CIWS. 0 U.S. casualties. 0 material damage to U.S. or Allied vessels. Let's be direct about what this engagement means strategically, because the implications extend far beyond one ship and one afternoon in the Black Sea. Russia has built its deterrence posture for the past decade around a specific narrative, that its hypersonic weapons, the Kinjal, the Zircon, the Avangard, represent a generational leap that renders American missile defense systems obsolete. This narrative has been carefully cultivated, extensively funded in propaganda terms, and has achieved significant penetration in Western defense policy debates. Analysts have written at length about the missile defense gap created by hypersonic weapons. Legislators have expressed concern. Defense budgets have been adjusted. The Donald Cook's engagement just subjected that narrative to its first real-world test against an operational American naval missile defense system, and the narrative failed. Not narrowly, not with extenuating circumstances, cleanly and completely. The SM-3 Block IIA intercepted the Kinjal in exo-atmospheric flight with geometry and timing that suggests the fire control solution was well within the interceptor's capability envelope. This was not a lucky shot. This was a system performing as designed against a threat it was designed to defeat. The Kinjal is fast. Mach 10 is genuinely fast. But speed alone does not defeat a hit-to-kill interceptor guided by a continuously updated 2-ship cooperative engagement capability solution. Speed is a physics parameter. The Aegis fire control software was written by people who understand physics. The SM-3 Block IIA's seeker does not care that the incoming target is traveling at Mach 10. It simply adjusts the intercept geometry accordingly. What matters is whether the interceptor can reach the intercept point before the incoming missile does. Against the Kinjal, launched from within the SM-3's engagement envelope, the answer is yes. Clearly, demonstrably, operationally yes. Russia built the Kinjal to defeat missile defense systems that existed in 2015. American missile defense systems have not stood still since 2015. The SM-3 Block IIA was declared operational in 2017 and has been continuously upgraded since. The Aegis BMD software baseline has been through multiple revisions. The Cooperative Engagement Capability data link has been improved. The integration between space-based infrared sensors and the shipboard fire control system has been deepened. Russia has been chasing a target that moves, and today they discovered how far it has moved. There's one more thing worth saying about the crew of the USS Donald Cook. They have heard the 2014 story about the Su-24 that disabled their ship. It has been played back to them in port visits in foreign countries, in conversations with Allied officers, in the margins of international symposia. They have never dignified it with serious response because professionals do not argue with propaganda. They train. They maintain their systems. They show up when called, and they do their jobs. Today, in the iron-gray water of the western Black Sea, under an 800-foot overcast with 3-meter swells running out of the northwest, they showed what 10 years of that work looks like. Russia's most advanced hypersonic missile hit the Black Sea. Russia's backup cruise missiles hit the Black Sea. The Donald Cook is sailing west toward the Bosphorus at standard transit speed, her watch bill unchanged, her crew cycling through normal meal rotations, her commanding officer composing a laconic engagement report to 6th Fleet that will be stamped secret and filed in a system that already contains dozens like it. Not every lesson needs to be taught twice. Some need to be taught only once, very clearly, at Mach 10, in the cold water of the Black Sea where nobody saw it coming except the people who had been preparing for it for years. Bye for now.